WMC Memphis, WMFS FM HD2 Bartlett Memphis. It's America's team. The Dallas Cowboys play here on ESPN 790 AM. The views and opinions of the hosts or guests of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the management or staff of Intercom Memphis.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take a family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this September the 17th, which means it's third Saturday. It's hard to believe it's 3 Saturdays already, which means that Frank Barton has rolled into the studio from the Barton Power Sports in West Memphis, Jonesboro, Forest City, Memphis. Did I miss any?
No, you got them all.
I got them all that
Thanks.
time and everything. And this is an exciting time for my man Frank there, as he's all geared up for the Master Nationals coming up in St. Louis.
25th anniversary of the Master National Retriever Club's annual event.
Wow. And this will be, how many dogs will they have there?
840 dogs entered. It's the largest performance event that AKC puts on, or we put on in regards with AKC. So
Well, we're going to talk to Frank a lot about that. And then, of course, we got a jam-packed show, a great guest starting right out and closing out today's show with the one and only Kim Rohde.
you did that for me.
I did that for you.
I
Yeah,
know you did.
6-time Olympian, one of our favorite guests. But I want to talk to a gentleman here about a product that maybe you folks out there, you've heard of it. A lot of you know it, but maybe you don't know the scope of this company. And when I think about it, I just didn't, I don't want to take anything for granted, but the GPS kind of jump-started. This is really what jump-started the GPS, if I'm not mistaken. And the guy that knows all this is on the line with us right now. We appreciate Paul Michelé. Come on, Paul, are you there?
I don't know, Larry. You didn't name me as one of your favorite guests, so
Well,
I don't know how much I'm
Well, Paul, you're
on
you're on there, but you're on the same show with Kim Rohde, so I guarantee you there's a lot of folks listening this morning. Okay.
No, that's a great company to be in, so I'm not going to complain.
No,
I wouldn't
don't-
be me if I didn't give you a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, well, your company is pretty famous too, and I know that Paul, you've been with them how long?
About 8 years now, Larry.
And you are the national sales manager, and I know that pertains. He said, I asked him if he was going to England for this big boat show that they have over there, and he said his cup is pretty full, right?
Well, if I travel to all the boat shows, then I don't really get out on the water to product demo and learn more about it. And I got to be out there catching fish so I can talk a little more intelligently. So I got to skip a few.
Well, this is what makes this company. Tell a little bit before we ask about what's going on new-wise and new products and things like that. Give our listeners out there in the hitherland here in the Mid-South, North Mississippi, East Arkansas, West Tennessee, even Missouri, Boot Hill, a little bit about your company.
Well, Navionics, as you know, Larry, we do the cartography for just about all the electronics with the exception of Garmin. But, yeah, the software and the technology, the stuff that's coming out now, and to your point about GPS, I mean, it's changed so much in the last 7 years, especially with the Wi-Fi connections now and everything else. So a lot of what we've been doing is being able to dial in more about what the consumer wants. I mean, we've got 18,000 or 20,000 lakes mapped now, but the opportunity to kind of use even our mobile app now associated with it, where you can draw live charting as you go, whether you're doing 5 miles or 50 miles an hour.
Yeah,
you can draw 1 foot contours as you're boating along on the plotter or on the phone. You can create automatic routes if you're on a Raymarine or you're using your phone on their app. You can say, I want to go from here to here and put in your boat settings. It'll basically almost like a car GPS. Here's where you want to go and draw you the line to get you there. There's a lot of cool stuff that's coming with everything we're working on the software side, but we're definitely staying at the forefront to make sure people have the most information they can and catch the most fish possible. And
we're talking to Paul Mickley. He is the National Sales Manager for Navionics here on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this September the 17th, Saturday morning. And it's hard to believe, Paul, that you've been with them, as you said, during your tenure, the advancement. Everybody asks me, and I know Frank will agree with this, that electronics to me is the most visible change in all the things that have happened in our world. I mean, we go from I don't use a GPS, okay, on my car. My son does. I don't use cruise control. Okay, I'm in command, but I have to have certain things. And I know that Navionics, 1984, 2 people started this thing out, and I'm looking at you guys got now 500 workers. You're mainly in the U.S., Italy, India, sales and service all over the world. Does it blow your mind?
It really does. I mean, to see what they started from long ago, again, as you pointed out in just my tenure, the stuff that they've done now is it's just night and day. And what I would tell you, Larry, and I would encourage, the listeners to do is, the one thing I've seen is a lot of people now just, the GPSs, I shouldn't say GPSs, the fish finders.
The fish
have done
finders.
a lot of advancements in the, in your side imaging and your down imaging. But the thing that really helps everybody, and I really want people to understand, is the contours.
The contours, yes.
I mean, if you can have the greatest fish finder in the world, but, if you're running it over a desert, you're not going to find anything. People really need to pay attention to what we call is the sonar chart, which is actually on our brand new product called the Navionics Plus Regional.
That's what I want you to get in there. Yeah. I want you to get that Navionics Plus Regional, because it's you're talking about supersonic here. I mean, this is electronics way over my head, so to speak.
Oh, come on, Larry. You know how to find fish. You just look at the chart, you find your lead, you find your hole, you find your lump, and then you turn on your fish finder and kick some butt.
Well, I'm talking about things that have been invented. I mean, the technology, it's ever changing, and I know even in your line of work, and folks were talking about, how many lakes did you say again, Paul?
I think it's including Canada, I think we're at 20,000, but over 18,000 now, not counting private lakes in the U.S.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's ever changing, right? I mean, you guys, every year this thing is updated. You get new lakes, you get new places to go. And I don't know why anyone with a boat would not be using this.
No, and you're right about the changing aspect. I mean, this is, we actually had a stat that we found that there's actually over 1 billion errors, in the world on charts. And
Really?
With us doing changes every day, even at 10%, you're still only, 1 million changes, in the course of a year. So, I mean, there's always something that's different, always something that somebody finds. A new ledge or whatever else. But you're right. There's always something new that you'll find when you're looking at the charts.
I go back to 1967 and the first Bassmaster Classic, and I think about, and I've talked to Bill Dance many times about this, and I'll ask him, what's the most biggest change in the world of fishing, particularly fishing for us pros? And they'll say, it's electronics. And they'll say, we need to know not just where the fish are, but also the contours that you mentioned.
Yep, and that's the key. I mean, you look at it, and I always compare it to the easiest thing I could say is you compare it to the desert.
The desert.
You know, when you're out in the desert, there's nothing. All of a sudden, there's an oasis that's got some trees and it's a dip with some water. Well, everything goes there, and truly fishing is not much different. You can have nothing across the vast bottom, and you're not going to find anything. You find that little hole or that little ledge where there's a piece of structure, that's where everything's headed to.
Well, and the world's first electronic chart device, 1984, called the GeoNav.
GeoNav.
The GeoNav.
There you go.
Is that in some museum up there at the company plant?
Yeah, it's a small little shrine when you first walk in. There's a bunch of spotlights that in there. You walk by, it goes,
that you know it's there and everything. Again, we're talking to Paul Mickley. He is the national sales manager for Navionics, and based out of. I'm assuming you are out of Massachusetts, right, Paul?
No, I am a lucky individual, and when I started with the company, I started in the Southeast, and I live down in Stuart, Florida, so I'm in the fishing capital of the country.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. When you were Southeast Regional Manager and you didn't have to move, well, that's pretty good. Nothing against Massachusetts. We got probably 4 or 5 listeners here that know about Massachusetts, but I know they know about Navionics. And talk about what's new. What's coming up that can't be, I mean, every year. What's coming up new for you guys?
Well, I would say that the 2 most important things, as we kind of hinted at already, was the Navionics Plus regional chart, which we just launched about a month ago, and that's a 149 product, and it's our old Hot Maps region, but we've pre-programmed everything. All the new sonar chart is on there, which you look at under the fish and chip layer, all the new lakes, and it's fresh and saltwater. So if we've got any people that are on the coast that do a little inshore and they do some freshwater as well, it's got both.
Well,
so that's a brand new product. The one that I really will mention is the Sonar Chart Live, and that is the one that lets you draw the live contours. And you either can use an HDS and connect our app to it, or you can use a Ray Marine. And that's the one where, if you're boating along, and a lot of the elite guys have been telling me what they're doing is, they're getting to an area that maybe they want to update with mapping, or they're in a creek that's never been mapped. And they're turning it on then with their trolling motor so they can motor along. They get instant contours. They can see exactly what's going on. And then they'll turn it off and they'll leave. They'll go to a new area, because they don't want to run it necessarily the whole time.
Right.
But then when they go back, they can look at the brand new stuff that they went through and say, okay, I caught a fish there. Why? I caught a fish there and why? And they can get real-time information. Live contours were, if they've changed, if there was a new area, and they're able to analyze.
Well, it's just amazing.
Out of La Crosse.
Yeah, and you guys.
I'm sorry, Larry. So out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, we actually had 4 of the top 12 guys were actually using that when they were on there, and they finished. We had 4 places. Second place, Seth. Skeet was up there. Edwin was up there, and Talk. We're all up there using that.
Yeah, well, I knew that. That was what kick-started my idea. And then I got some friends that would not go skiing without this either.
Paul, this is Frank Barton. Talk a little bit about the apps that Navionics has got, because a lot of folks have got phones, but they don't necessarily have the equipment. But you've got lots of apps out there. Yes,
sir, Frank. Absolutely. The Navionics app is available on any of the iPhone or iPads, or it's on the Droid or Droid tablet. For the mobile phone, we'll stick with that. It's $10. And basically, once you've got it, you can download. You get the U.S., but you download anywhere you want. You just draw a little box on your phone, and you can keep downloading up to a year. But you get all of our chart contents. Your phone can use GPS and show you where you are. You can check tides if you're saltwater. You can create routes. You can make waypoints. You can check waterfront restaurants. You can look at the sonar charts. You can adjust lake level. You can highlight certain depths. I mean, it lets you do everything that the plotter does, but you can do it from, sitting on your couch. If you're going to go fishing in 2 days, you're like, I want to go check out Pickwick a little bit here and see where I'm going to fish. You can sit on your couch and put a plan together, and then when you're on your boat, you're good to go. You don't have to wait until the morning to figure it out. You can sit and look at your boat and information anywhere you want, which is in itself pretty cool.
It's amazing, $10. And so, Paul, tell our listeners out there how they can get this app and other information about Navionics.
Sure. If you're looking for cartography, you can buy our charts either through our website, or you can visit any of the Bass Pros, Cabela's, or your local dealers. They all carry Navionics if they carry marine electronics. And the app is very simple. If you've got an iPhone, just go to the App Store and search Navionics, the USA app. And if you've got a Droid, it's on Google Play. Same thing, USA. And if you are going into Canada for some reason, you can get the USA in Canada, and then you've got both.
Man, it's amazing. Paul, thank you for being with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray, buddy. We'll stay in touch and have a great day, okay?
You got it. Thanks, Larry. I'm heading fishing.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Let's take a break. Be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're going to talk a little turkey. I know this guy knows turkey. We're talking a little deer hunting with Heath Wood on Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790.
You can find